You know, I still remember that chilly morning at Elmendorf Air Force Base up in Alaska like it was yesterday. Emily Hayes, just trying to grab a quick bite in the mess hall before another long day, blending in with my standard issue blues, hair tied back tight. Nothing screaming special about me at 29 years old. Athletic, but not showy, you know? But oh man, those four cocky newbies, Ryan from the Midwest with his farm boy swagger, Alex who'd barely scraped through basic and was always trying to prove he was tougher than he looked, Jordan with his big mouth hiding some deep-seated grudge from a sister who washed out of training years ago, and Chris, the quiet one who just followed along, because fitting in meant everything when you're fresh out of high school. They spotted me sitting alone, and something in them snapped, like seeing a woman in uniform triggered all their buried insecurities about who really belongs in the fight. Ryan led the charge, leaning in with that fake grin, whispering just loud enough, "Hey, sweetheart, shouldn't you be back at the desk job, filing papers or something? Leave the real work to the men who can handle it." And I could feel the mess hall tension spike, folks glancing over, but I kept my cool, fork in hand, thinking, here we go again, these kids with their fragile egos, probably fueled by stories from their dads about the good old days when women weren't in combat roles, not knowing. I'd clawed through hell in classified ops training that would break most grown men. It started subtle, them chuckling at their table about how girls like her were just diversity hires, stealing spots from real warriors, Ryan's voice carrying that edge of resentment, maybe from watching his sister get passed over, or just plain old jealousy that the Air Force was changing faster than he could keep up. But then they sauntered over, surrounding my table like they owned the place. Alex crossing his arms, sneering, "Come on, admit it. You're probably here on some quota women can't hack the front lines, you'd crack under pressure." And Jordan piling on with a mocking laugh, "Yeah, maybe stick to the kitchen crew. That's more your speed." While Chris hung back, shifting uncomfortably, his eyes darting like he knew this was wrong, but peer pressure had him locked in, afraid to look weak in front of his new buddies. I looked up, heart steady from years of drills where one wrong move meant failure worse, and said quietly, "Guys, I'm just eating hair, let's not do this." But Ryan leaned closer, his breath hot with that mix of bravado and bitterness. "Nah, you need to learn respect for the men who actually earn this uniform. Apologize for taking a spot you don't deserve." And the whole room went quiet, trays clattering in the background, everyone sensing the storm brewing, me assessing them in my head for bigger guys, fresh from basic, strong but sloppy, their positions blocking my exits. But they had no clue I'd graduated from elite special tactics school a year back, undercover as a comms specialist to gather intel on base vulnerabilities, my real job hunting threats that could cripple ops, not this playground nonsense. Then Alex grabbed my arm. Big mistake. That spark of physical aggression crossing the line. His grip tight like he thought it'd scare me. Bam. My instincts kicked in. No hesitation. I twisted his wrist with my left hand while slamming my right elbow into his gut. Precise. Just enough to wind him without breaking anything. Watching him double over, gasping like a fish on dry land. And before the others could blink, I spun him as a shield, Jordan lunging wild from the side with a growl. "You're done now, bitch." But I ducked low, swept his legs clean out from under him. Crack. He crashed into chairs, dishes flying everywhere, and Ryan, eyes wide in shock, charged like a bull, fists up, yelling, "You think you're tough?" But I sidestepped, grabbed his arm, used his momentum for a hip throw that flipped him flat on his back with a thud that echoed, leaving him wheezing, staring up in disbelief. The whole mess over in seconds, Chris backing off with hands raised, muttering, "Whoa. We didn't know," as the hall erupted in gasps and phones whipping out to record. Man, the rush hit me, then not anger, but this quiet satisfaction, like finally shutting down the noise that's followed me since I joined, proving to myself more than anyone that all those grueling nights in training, pushing past limits while hiding my role to protect missions, weren't for nothing, though part of me felt a twinge for these kids. Their egos shattered by their own dumb assumptions rooted in outdated crap from home or whatever toxic locker room talk they'd swallowed. In the aftermath, as Chief Ramirez stepped in, barking for space, I stood there calm but alert, scanning faces, knowing my cover was toast. The videos went viral faster than wildfire. Millions watching this mystery woman dismantle four dudes like it was nothing, headlines screaming about female power in the forces, and yeah, it blew my undercover gig wide open, forcing a quick extraction from intel work I'd poured months into, tracking potential insider threats that could have saved lives. But looking back, it sparked something bigger. Those guys, Ryan especially, wrote apologies later, humbled, admitting their jealousy came from fearing change, from personal failures they projected onto me. Alex started studying tactics. Jordan took up self-defense to understand what hit him, and Chris? He turned into an advocate, speaking up against bias in his unit. Me, I got reassigned to public stuff, talking to recruits about breaking barriers, inspiring young women who approached me teary-eyed, saying, "You showed me I belong." And it hit deep, turning that mess hall brawl into a lesson on respect, on not judging by looks or gender. But damn, it left questions hanging. Did I go too far, or was it justice served? Was their harassment just dumb kid stuff, or a symptom of deeper rot in the ranks that needs fixing? What do you think? Should women in combat prove themselves like that, or is the system still stacked? Drop a comment below, share your take on fairness in the military or your own stories of standing up. Let's chat, because stories like this, they don't end, they just keep evolving.